south node. So I be feeling the Capricorn energy. I love you. Thank you for your responses on my little tiredness. Sure, that was yesterday. I had my last like full day off, although I think I did a reading yesterday. And yeah, I just felt super snoozy in the morning and got crafty on the old short machine. Anyway, Capricorn, what up? I do the live monthly readings every month for the birthday month. So, Capricorn, here we are. We're live. It's December 28th. Happy birthday to all of you guys celebrating your birthdays. And we've just had our solstice. We've had a holiday vibratory and a lot of really, I would say, positive changes are afoot, and yet I want to also say delicately, like despairing energy on the planet, and kind of uncomfortable things to endeavor to stomach. I continue in my own personal life to endeavor to still and focus the mind, and do our best to look after our bodies, to look after our personal environments and our homes and our gardens and the people in our lives, and then beyond that care factor, to extend that compassionately where we have the extra energy. So my intention with tarot is to offer divine guidance and loving clarity. There is a Patreon community. Patrons get ad-free first access, among other little things. I share intuitive sort of meditation and breathwork sessions, little energizing yoga sessions, like just really kind of 5 to 10 minute little sessions there. And I also usually put out my intuitively guided noodle shares, which is just me sort of philosophizing about things and interpreting, deducing, whatever. Those I also put out to the Patreon community first. So lower tier get access to everything, but top tier patrons get access to everything, and they also get a substantial discount on sessions with me. So yoga or EFT or tarot. So let's go. Divine guidance. Thanks for listening and being patient for this long. I like to get right in there, and then I find myself waffling. And I'm still. So I'm pulling cards for Capricorn, divine guidance and love and clarity. This is looking at the January 2024 month ahead for all the Capricorn people in my world, in the Ultra Love TV community. For Capricorn, divine guidance and love and clarity. For Capricorn, divine guidance and love and clarity. This is a live reading for Capricorn, which means at the end of next month, we'll be going live for the Aquarius lovers. I'm curious, do you guys use Placidus or whole sign? I know astrologers on YouTube always use whole sign, but I personally think I res a little bit more with the Placidus, but it's a funny thing because that means that a lot of my signs are actually aligned with an Aquarius rising. Sorry to confuse you guys. Okay, so divine guidance and love and clarity for my Cappies. This is a message coming through for some of you. There's like a near-death experience that you've possibly overcome. I'm also getting something about, like, there's some potential for financial losses. I'm not gonna lie, the reading's kind of making me think of, like, ooh, there might have been a bit of an investment, like as in a not great investment here. I'm gonna obviously get more cards. So there's definitely some kind of near miss. Or there's an illness, some little bit of illness that's flipping the world upside down, changing the direction of your life, possibly. Self-denial. Something you've got to let go of, Capricorn. The Tower. There's something here. My lovers, I would say there's the Tower looming. I mean, simply in the general sense, some of you might be dealing with a job change or I don't know, like maybe asking for a promotion, not getting the promotion, or being demoted, or being laid off. What's the death reverse card? What's the death reverse? I keep hearing like a near miss, or I would say definitely like an illness. Yeah, like 5 of Cups strength card. You've definitely been through something that, yeah, you've been through something that has challenged your strength supremely, Capricorn. I feel like you're going to have to rebuild some of that strength before moving forward in your power. So you've got to lay something down. You've got to find that mental clarity. I don't think you're very clear in this regard. I think obviously it all has to be resonant. But if you're struggling on a physical level, like straight up feeling a bit rough, the bod is feeling a bit unwell, you're sick, you've got a cold, or something like this. It's almost like something that's going on in your mind is affecting your physical body, possibly even affecting your faith. And okay, it could be connected to a work situation. You're not earning enough, or it's like you're not feeling empowered enough. Maybe you're not growing in the situation the way you'd hoped or the way you wanted to. And I kind of want to say, I mean, don't worry about it, because the Tower to me is always a kind of one of those benevolent, although seemingly catastrophic, benevolent universal energies that force the change. So if we don't know how to make the change, or if we're in denial of making the change, it's just going to happen. Just through the natural life flow. I am curious about death reverse. Death reverse can be illness. It can be resistance to change. Cappy, what's going on? What's going on here, Capricorn? Fucking hell. There's a lot of major energy, major arcana, or significant life dynamics, right? And all I'm saying is that you've got a lot of it. To get in thing. Maybe you're waiting to get an appointment for clarity. Maybe you're waiting for the news from the doctor about what you're dealing with. You will find, there was the 8 of Wands, so I'm like, you will find out eventually. You'll get the messages through. I also get a sense from this 3 of Wands in the reverse. For some of you, you might want to explore some different options as well. I always think of like shamanic healing for some reason, because the 3 of Wands in the upright is like traveling, going on a lone journey, gapya, that kind of Shazam. And when it's reverse, I often think, especially because we have the strength card, we have the death reverse. When it's reverse, I'm thinking like going within. So rather than going on a big adventure on the external plane, we go see a shaman and we go in a deep dive into our own consciousness. Yeah. So there could be that worthy of your exploration, especially with regards to healing an ailment of sorts. It could just be a common cold. But again, you will get clarity on that. You might not, honestly, you might be watching this as me. You might not even be aware of it. Because part of it could be connected to a mental loop. For example, just going over and over in our own heads, so-and-so did that to me that little fucker. Like, right? Like, we're going over these like shitty stories in our mind, and this is the classic teaching, right? Of when we're there and we're brewing about something that somebody did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We're feeling all this Shazam. It's us that's feeling it. We're the ones that are feeling the anger or feeling the betrayal or feeling the whatever. It's our own perception. So continue to work with the energies, the mental discipline, because there's the only clarity here is the Four of Wands, or pardon me, the Four of Swords. So it's a genuine sense of like, you've just got to let that shit go. You've just got to step into like, and that's where the shamanic healing stuff could come in handy, right? Working with professional energy people to help you dissolve, let go, forgive, transform, right? Whatever. FYI, I thought I'd lost a deck and I found it this morning. So thank you, my Capricorn friends. The Fool card I'm seeing. I do get that. I think the Fool's on the horizon. I think you're probably going to be stepping into the new beginning pretty soon and taking the reins of your own life. But I knew there was something about that too. Like, but there is something within this reading that there's like, you do need to have a shift in finances, probably more than likely, to move forward in your power. I want to say it's mainly about you feeling really powerful right now. If you're feeling a bit under the weather physically, and if there's like some baggage from your past that you're kind of repeating on loop, that cycle needs to kind of close itself down, and it's coming up. So it's not, it will close down, but you've got to kind of look at it and address it and see it for what it is, and recognize that that loop is not helping your working life and not helping you make more money. And there's all these sort of things that are interconnected that you're likely to need a little bit of support to move through those energies. Yeah, defo. I get a sense of feminine energy with that gift of stones as well. So again, prioritizing, really working on your physical sustainability. Whether you're a male or a female, this is energy to me representative of invoking that kind of womb wisdom, womb wisdom. Like, as in, and we say womb, the seed of creation, but it's like all of us have that. I guess you could say symbolism alchemically, as in the wisdom is in your body, right? So how you're feeling, how you're vibrating in your body is, and that would be indicative of a feminine wisdom rather than the mental air element, for example. And this is all connected possibly to childhood wounding. Feelings like you've been left out in the cold. All at once I want to say, Capricorn, I get a sense too that some of you really are on the precipice. You're like on the verge of stepping into another realm of your power, whether a like better status or more money or whatever it might be. And yet the challenge for you, what's coming up in this sort of like loop of the mind, and not like feeling a bit forlorn with things, is likely a childhood wound. These aspects of self that are frightened of, and it's not to invalidate our experience, because often when this wounding comes up, it's because it happened. It's because stuff went down either in our mother's womb or very early on in childhood that that like traumatized us, or made us feel all alone, made us feel undeserving, and then we kind of shaped and masked and compromised in such a way to harmonize with the world as we were children. So all of us collectively coming into adulthood are going, oh, okay, these things need to be addressed for me to be the person in adulthood that I'm aiming for, that I truly desire. And there's no shame in it, right? Like, we can recognize, the lack of, if anything, just old ways of thinking or whatever. Like, to me, that is where am I going? What am I saying? It's like the people that deny it the most are often the ones that need the most help, right? Like, I don't need therapy. I don't want to go to therapy. That's often, you know, a doorway of, oh, you definitely probably want to go to therapy. But it's like, people, I can't do yoga. I don't I don't meditate. Like, you probably should. But hey ho. Hey ho. All up in the mountain flow. Let's pull a few more cards for my Capricorns. I use the word alchemy. So, ooh, so yeah, there's likely an aspect of the relationship you have with yourself that is transforming. That's part of that death card. Sometimes going through illness, stuff like that, it does alchemize us whether we like it or not. We do come out the other side, or what have you, just a bit shifted, a bit different. I don't want to work so goddamn hard, like I don't want to do it for the man. I can remember not long after getting back from India after yoga training, and I was at the time living up in Liverpool where I'd done my university training and all that kind of shazam, and I was like taking buses really all over the city to get to yoga teaching gigs. And I was just walking through the city, and I'm sure I was reading some sort of yoga book at the time, and it was talking about sound pollution. And here I am getting off the bus, walking through the city, and it was just a very clear knowing that I didn't want to be in a city anymore. And I always considered myself a city person, actually. And then now that I'm living in the countryside, I'm like, oh yeah, I grew up in like farm country kind of thing in Canada and Ontario. So I'm like, I guess there is a sense of like returning to what we know or what we're comfortable with. But it was the kind of chaos and the noise of just buses going by the street and things like, in that moment of knowing, it was just a sudden like, the noise, it's so fucking loud. And I didn't want to be in a city. And then the life forces just worked their little magic strings. And then I moved from Liverpool, I went down to the West Midlands, and then I eventually ended up in Devon. Like, life will show you. If you know something is true for you, life will show you the way to access that truth, as in to manifest it, right? I think we live in this sort of disconnection of thinking that manifestation is all about a material essence, but to me, it's more aligned with the truth and knowing that's within us. And if anything, the more ungrounded I got and the more in my head and my ego I got, the less manifestation worked. Because it just wasn't grounded in anything real or true in the moment, right? So, yeah. So I'm looking down at another thing too, like so that rant was really about how our personal relationships help us to alchemize our wounds, right? As in, those nearest and dearest, or those people that trigger us the most, are some of our greatest teachers, right? I'm not saying to hang out and force yourself to be around people that aren't feeling right or are toxic or abusive or any of that. And yet, I love the sutra, understand through compassion or you misunderstand the times. Having compassion in situations, certainly in my experience, is what has helped release me. Having true forgiveness and compassion is what's liberated me from situations that I knew I was ready to go. Like, I knew but I didn't want to be angry. I didn't want to be running. I didn't want to be, like, it was just like vabooish, right? And it's not one person's better than the other, one person's right, one person's wrong. It's pure. If you think of the infinitude of vibration and frequencies and these eternal infinite energies, it's not good and bad. It's not our human polarity perspective. It's just isness. So when we're evolving or growing apart from certain people or certain circumstances, it doesn't make that circumstance wrong or bad. It just makes it not the same alignment vibrationally, right? It's like we're not truly aligned. These are not the droids you're looking for, my sugars. Sugar, who do, honey, honey. Okay, we're gonna pull a few more cards for the final layers of divine guidance for my Capricorns. So I'm switching it up, and I wanted to say to those of you who catch me here, I have been gifted so many decks over the years. I tend to work with 7 decks at a time. It's kind of what's naturally evolved for me, and seasonally, which means just this morning I actually changed the decks. So I always use the traditional Rider-Waite, and I usually use a few different interpretations of that traditional tarot, and then a few. And so I've got my yoga deck out, and the Kim Crow series as well. That's the throat. That's the throat chakra. This has to do with some of you. That is part of the. It's sort of like a. So it goes together. Your ability to connect to and speak your truth is connected to your ability to let some stuff go. I'm feeling almost this resistance. It could have to do with a vulnerability. It could have to do with like an apology. Something that's like hard to say or hard to do, but it could be making you ill. If you've got like a really bad cough, for example, there could be somebody in your life or somebody in your work that's pissing you off, and you're just swallowing it. You know, and that's where you get those metaphysical, okay, there's probably more to it usually, but you know, coughing, it's like barking at the world. It's like, listen to me. And so often we get little cough when we're holding things back or when we're not able to really express, right? So express yourself, Capricorn. This is, again, possibly, it's like you spoke your truth when you were little and you were shut down. So that could be part of the block that you're working through. And maybe there's a partner or a lover or somebody in your life that you can lean on to support you in being more of who you are and expressing it proudly, or I don't like that word proud necessarily, but unashamedly, like just being who you are, expressing it. Or maybe for some of you, there's a bit, maybe as you start letting some of this stuff go and working through things and opening up a bit, shamanic healer, or just meditate, go within, figure it out for yourself. I get it, organizing, like you might be going through things, hashing things out, and then finally you're like, oh my God, that's it. Or I have to say this thing, or I have to speak to that person, or I have to put this thing right, or... Because again, there is a 7 of Swords, so you or another person. It could be partly your own lies and self-deception and how that's impacted some of your relationships or how that's impacted your working life. It's like, I want to just say, it's like, it's time to be honest. And if you need help with something, reach out for help, right? Capricorn, I do feel you guys as far as like, Capricorns are strong and they're really independent. And I would dare say maybe, although I'm not like, I don't necessarily know this, but I'm thinking like maybe a shadow of Capricorn is to just like keep going. Even though like as a mountain goat, like your ankle's sore, and if you just stopped and let somebody help you, it would mean that the rest of your journey would be so much better. But you're just like, no, I'm gonna power through. And that would be to me like a shadow aspect of a Capricorn energy, is like, yes, it's high up there, mountain goat, and for the most part you're independent and you can do it on your own, and you can climb and scale in those mountains. Like, well done you for having that strength and that patience. But it's also lonely. And like, what would happen, Capricorn, if you let a few people help you to scale that mountain, or helped you to get to to that next level, because it's like right now I think there's energies or mental loops that are hindering you scaling that mountain. You might just need to open up, and or you might need to express yourself and share something with someone close and trusted that can help you organize or rectify a situation or just heal an unconscious wounding that's probably sabotaging or affecting your work life. Like you're not feeling as powerful as normal. So it's a hala. Hala, hala, hala. There you go, my Capricorn. Hey, I can see some of you are in the live share. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for showing up and being my internet friends. I adore every one of you. And I'm just thankful to be here after all of these years. I've been working on putting things on YouTube since 2012, and really dedicated since 2014, 15, and 16, and onwards and upwards, my lovers. And so it's been such a cray journey, but I'm still here and I still really enjoy sharing. And I'm loving learning more. There obviously all these tarot decks come with lots of books and lots of reading to go with it. So it's a pleasure to share and to continue to share and to keep showing up and to welcome people into this community, because it's a truly loving one and a very generous spirit of sparkling, compassionate, sensitive humans. So I love you guys. Have an awesome day. Namaste, my universe. And I'll be doing the Aquarius and Pisces readings real soon, so keep an eye out for those. Check out the Patreon, check out the merchandise at T-Mail, and mostly just give yourself a big high five and a big hug, and yeah, choose to love, even on the cloudiest of days. Hala hala. Love you guys. Peace.